Good Holly! My name is Jamaica Buday. So, I will discuss the importance of neo-behaviorism. So, when we talk about neo-behaviorism, it is the control of human behavior in which introspection or independent thinking play no essential part of its teaching methods. Also, it is important, it's because it is a behavior that cannot be fully understood simply in terms of observable stimuli and reactions. And also, it introduces mediating variables into the behaviorist stimuli response scheme. So let's proceed to Tolman's purposive behaviorism. So it is referred to the sign learning theory and often seen as the link between behaviorism and cognitive theory. And learning involves forming beliefs and obtaining knowledge about the environment and revealing that knowledge through goal-oriented behavior. So Tolman's have 5 key concepts or purposive behaviorism. So first is the learning is always purposive and goal-oriented. And the second one is cognitive maps in rats. And the third one is latent learning. The fourth one is the concept of intervening variable. And the last one is reinforcement is not essential for learning. So I will discuss that one by one. So first, we will discuss learning is always purposive and goal-oriented. So Tolman believes that an organism acted or responded for some adaptive purpose and that individuals do more than just responding to stimuli but an act on beliefs, attitude, changing conditions, and strive toward goals. So Tolman saw that behavior is holistic, purposive, and cognitive. And the second one is cognitive maps in rats. So what is cognitive maps in rats? So rats have learned the location rather than the terms, which signify that they have formed cognitive maps. Also, Tolman found out that they will select the shortest or easiest path to achieve a goal. And the third one is latent learning, the kind of learning that remains or stays with the individual until needed. So it is not outwardly manifested at once and it cannot exist without reinforcement. Just like, for example, the rats apparently learned the maze by forming cognitive maps of the maze but manifested this knowledge only when needed. The fourth one is the concept of intervening variable. So intervening variables are variables that are not readily seen but serve as determinants of behavior. Always remember that. And Tolman believed that learning is mediated or influenced by expectations, our perceptions, our representations, our needs, and other internal or environmental variables. So the last one is reinforcement, not essential for learning. So Tolman concluded that reinforcement is not essential for learning. Why? Because it provides an incentive for performance. Just like, for example, the rats were able to acquire knowledge even without reinforcement.
Good Holly at magandang Jensen. Let's proceed to Albert Bandura, Social Learning Theory. According to Albert Bandura, most learning is gained by the people perception and thinking about what they experience. They learn by copying the example of others around them. Albert Bandura, Social Learning Theory suggests that observation and modeling play a primary role in how and why people learn. Bandura theory goes beyond the perception of learning being the result of direct experience with the environment. What is social learning? Social learning theory emphasizes the importance of observing and modeling the behavior, attitude, and emotionally reaction of others. Learning theory focuses on the learning that occurs within the social context. Social context is how someone reacts to something depending on their immediately social or physical environment. Social context can influence how someone perceives something. Now, let's proceed to the principle of social learning theory. First, people learn by observing the behavior of others. Second, learning occurs within change in behavior. And third, cognition play a central role in the learning. And last, social learning theory is a type of bridge or transition between the behaviorist learning theories and cognitive theories.
So there are 5 cognitive factors in social learning. First is learning without performance. Second, cognitive processing during learning. Third, expectation. Fourth, reciprocal equation. Fifth, modeling. Cognitive processing during learnings. Attention is a critical factor in learning. So, learning depends upon the subject focusing on the behavior being demonstrated. Learning without performance. Learning can occur without a behavioral change. There is a distinct between learning through observation and the actual limitation of has been learned. Expectation. As a result of being reinforced, people form expectation about the consequences that future's behavior are likely to bring. So next is
reciprocal causation. Behavior can also influence both the environment and the person because your behavior and action can represent your environment. In short, if you have a good behavior or bad behavior can represent your environment. Be careful of your behavior. Modeling. People can learn by observing the behavior of others and their consequence. There are different types of model. First, live model. With people can observe his or her behavior through actual. We could say that person has a good behavior or not. Next is a verbal behavior. Of desired behavior is described in the detail with instruction on how to perform it. And lastly, symbolic models. It is a real affection characters portrayed in some other medium, TV, radio, etc. We can also observe through that. For example, some artists we can say that he or she is a good person, have a good behavior through TV. We can learn also behavior can learn at least partly through modeling, reading accusation, moral behavior, and bravery. That's type of modeling that we can be achieved in our daily life. And now let's proceed to 4 conditions of effective modeling in social learning theory. First is attention, second retention, third reproduction, and last motivation. Attention. A child's attention must be captured for them to imitate the behavior. The ability to pay attention depends in large on accessibility of behavior being observed, the complexity of the behavior and its perceived value. Next is the retention. People learn by internalizing. Next is retention. People learn by internalizing information. We then recall that information when we want to respond to a situation that has elements that remind us of what we learned. Third, reproduction. Reproduce our perceivably learning behavior or knowledge when it required to perform a behaviors. Demonstrate by the model and referencing. This is our action can be improved the way we respond. When we say motivation, the will to perform a behavior based on the reward and punishment resulting from the modeling the action, when perceived reward outweighing and perceive a cost, an individual is more likely to imitate the behaviors. And I hope you have learned a lot from our report. And thank you for listening. Goodbye!